Hey, g'day, friends. Oh my God. Come on, sort the lighting out. Phone. Not very happy about that. Come on. That'll have to do it. Don't know why the lighting's gone terrible. Here we are, my friends. It's Chat with Matt. It's Chat with Matt. It is the 8th of April 2020. We've got full moon coming up in 3 hours. Is that right? No. Oh my God, I got that wrong this morning when I said it's in 4 hours time. So yeah, it's in 5 hours, 5.5 hours. I'm just realising I put a post on earlier saying, hey, I'm going to be on in a certain amount of time, and I got it wrong. I can't seem to do maths. Yes. So, here we are. Obviously, I'm scattered. I'm up for questions. Let me check out this group and see if anyone wrote anything in. I know apologies that I only gave an hour's notice because I quote-unquote forgot to do it last night, but that's it. Yippee is the only question I've got, and that's not hardly a question. Hey Mary, hey Donna, what do you guys want to know? What's going on in your world? Crazy, right? Going through the process, lots and lots of things unraveling as authoritarian powers keep trying to project a narrative that a lot of population is struggling to believe because it's farcical. And we're all playing the game, right? We're all playing the game as best we can to make the best of our lives, right? Because our life is right now, and we cannot rely on the structures, the authoritarian powers or society in general to supply us with quote-unquote happiness, because it's just ain't going to happen. Haley, it's not going to happen. So we have to choose to be happy. We have to choose to make our own life, our own world, our own purposeful existence in the situation that we find ourselves in, right? And complaining that the situation around us is not ideal is certainly not going to help. It isn't going to help, right? You can complain about that stuff all you want, but do you want to be happy or right? So that's what we're all facing, and it's an awesome time, right? We've got the full moon coming up in, as I said, 5.5 hours time, and it's a big one, right? A big fat super full moon, biggest one of the year. So that just means the moon's a little bit closer than it normally is. The moon's orbit's not circular, it's elliptical. So it's a little bit closer to the Earth. At a certain time every month it's closer. And when that certain time that it's closer corresponds to the alignment that is full moon, e.g. the sun can fully shine on it and the Earth's shadow's not doing its thing, well, not the Earth's shadow, but the position of the sun relative to the moon, relative to us viewing the moon. Anywho, so full moon's happening while the moon is close, so it's a super full moon. It'll look nice and bright tonight. We didn't get to see it last night because it's cloudy here. We tend to get a storm. Tends to rain at full moon time quite commonly. I don't know what the statistics are on that. It'd be interesting to know. Anyway, it's a full moon in Libra. I did a little looking at the astrology because I'm doing a call on it today. That's not a true statement, Mary. Mary said, I know you don't want us to follow videos. That's not the truth at all. But I listened to one by David Icke, and I've listened to the same one, and can't help but believe, I'll read it here, can't help believe what is being said is what I feel part of the Great Awakening. Yeah, it is a Great Awakening. That's why I'm doing the topic of awakening this month. It's not going to happen exactly as David's predicting. It's not going to happen exactly as anyone's predicting. Some of what David said in that video, I believe, is very, very valid, and some of what he said is most likely off. So that's it with everything, right? And I'm not pretending that anything I say is completely valid or may well be off to some degree. Any of us are working in what we are being led, and everyone's going down various rabbit holes right now as our minds try to make sense of this situation. The point is, Mary, is not to take any video that you watch as the truth and not to allow it to disrupt your peace, right? So if you can't maintain your peace while gathering information that you find interesting or pertinent, then you're better off not watching. But if you can maintain your peace and take everything for what it is, just another point of view, just someone else's point of view, to help you inquire into what's your truth in this situation, then that's great. But it's just about viewing everything from an empowered space. It's about maintaining your personal power in this very challenging time of conflicting information, a lot of contradictory information. The official narrative keeps changing anyway and contradicts itself quite a bit. But, it's out there and it's being very ardently pushed in our direction, right? And they're using all sorts of fear-based guilt tactics to get us all to try and comply with their narrative and locking down and da-da-da-da-da. And however you feel about that, and however there's a lot of this idea, be a team player, do it for everyone else sort of thing. And a lot of people are saying, well, really, I don't trust anything that's coming out of the media. I'm not going to do anything. And some people totally buy into it. And the truth for most of us should be somewhere in between, right? There is, it's not going to help our society if no one complies at all with their narrative. I don't think it's time just yet for us to sharpen our pitchforks and have the revolution. I believe that time is coming. Hopefully we don't need to sharpen pitchforks, but we're headed towards a revolution. We're heading towards, and how bloody the revolution is, I'm not sure yet, but there will be revolt. It has to be. Basically, the authoritarian powers are losing their validity in our society, right? Our society is maturing to the point where we do not need any more a fear-based shadow masculine authoritarian power keeping everyone in line by maintaining strong, strict rules. We're moving into an age of collaboration, divine feminine community, and so there is going to have to be a swing of power, and shadow masculine power is not going to let go of their run of power that they've had for several thousand years easily. So how it unfolds, no one really knows. It is part of the awakening, though. This is what we're awakening into, the age of Aquarius, the age of divine feminine collaborative community. And that's going to involve a shake-up on our medical system, our education system, our financial system. Pick the other ones that I just didn't come to mind, but basically a political system, right? It's all going to have to change because it's running in a shadow masculine, authoritarian, corrupt, controlling method that is not going to be supported by today's energies and the energies of the future. So that is all going to have to crumble, and there's going to be a lot of change, and change generally for human egos is uncomfortable, and less mature people will react in fear-based ways to that potential, and all sorts of misconduct and antisocial behaviour may ensue. We'll just see, right? All we can do is hold, as I've talked, we did a call on Sunday, Monday, and doing a call today on maintaining our attention on our intentions to hold the light very strong on this planet, and to offer a peaceful, light-filled solution to our society, right? To have that option available, that outcome that we all desire, to have a very collaborative and beautiful society to live in. We can't control the hows. We can't control how it's going to unfold. but we can maintain our intention on the outcome that we desire. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So this full moon in Libra is really helping this whole thing out, right? The balance and justice, right? What an interesting time to have a super full moon in the sign of justice and balance, right? When everything seems so unbalanced and so unjust in so many ways. And of course, we've still got the effect of the Pluto Jupiter thing, right? Pluto, the disruptor, coming into the big planet of luck and stability and all the rest of it, right? So we're seeing perfect opportunity right now for structures to change. And I was watching some astrological forecast, and it's just perfect, right? It's just such a great time to really maintain our intentions on moving forward into a more expansive awakening, right? Into a more expansive awakening for our society and for ourselves individually, right? Because we're all going through this exact same process ourselves, as the authoritarian structures within our egoic mind are falling apart, and some of them are getting very, very intensely ridiculous, just like we're seeing in the external world, with narratives getting projected at us in farcical ways almost, and very intense ways. For me personally, that's happening mentally for myself, right? Where I'm seeing some of my oldest, most ridiculous stories of not good enough and, not capable and not worthy, coming up in ways that, you almost have to stop and laugh, right? Much the same as, when we're in the supermarket, and the way that some of these people are behaving in the supermarket, completely, look into their eyes, completely filled with fear that they're going to catch some horrendous disease and die on the spot. It's farcical, right? I'm concerned, this is Mary, I'm concerned about how the impact of this time will work its way out in the future if things settle down. Will people be able to feel safe around other people? My concern for the trauma that has been created by all this. In the scheme of things, Mary, the amount of trauma that we're experiencing now is fucking nothing compared to the trauma that we've experienced in other lifetimes. Really, I've had successive lifetimes of being dragged out of my house and tortured, humiliated in front of the village society, burnt at the stake, all sorts of things, right? Horrendously traumatic events. We're still here and we're still kicking. And while there is an effect of that trauma, and much of what we're experiencing now is the purging of that trauma, right? Much of what's coming out right now is the release of the trauma of living in very dark ages coming out now. A lot of this fear of the pandemic, the plague, is past stuff, right? So how is your concern helping right now? What actions are you taking to work with that concern? Because concern itself is not an issue, right? If I'm concerned about something, it means there's a valid reason. I've got a feeling that something isn't going as well as it might. Great. That's a bit of information that I can now use, but how are you going to use it? Because if you're just worrying about it, if you're just mentally ruminating around and allowing it to build stress in your own system, then that ain't serving anyone, including yourself, first and foremost. But so being concerned is not the problem, right? It's not that we should all be not concerned, but we all need to stay out of stress. We all need to take empowered actions to what we're concerned about as best we can, and then relax, right? Maintain a relaxed state, an empowered attitude, a mature attitude to what's happening here, and only try and work towards what we can achieve, right? And not allow it to induce us. As soon as we go into stress, right, we lose the ability to cognate well, we lose the ability to intuit well, and we turn into a reactive being, right? We just react to stimulus, because that's what stress is. It basically puts all of the energy into our senses, into our muscles to run and fight, and we basically react to loud noises and movement, right? That's stress. We don't think a lot, we don't digest, we don't maintain our immune system, and we don't intuit, we don't meditate, we don't go deep and find the deeper knowing of how we can best facilitate transformation in this time. People have always thought that, Mary, right? Mary said, my concern is that people think others are somehow dirty. That's been inherent in people forever. Xenophobia has never gone away. People have tried to step past it, and some of us, of course, are much better at it than others. Some of us have a very deep connection with others, but in general, in the general population, it's alive and well that people look at others with suspicion, in all sorts of ways, where they're better than me and got something over me, and there's a jealousy, or they're less than me and they're dirty and they're somehow going to rob me of something, my health or my money or right? That has been kept alive through this shadow masculine age of many thousand years. People have been pitted against each other. Divide and conquer has been used by the authoritarian powers to keep everyone suspicious of everyone else, because they know when we come together in unity, we will easily overthrow them. So what we're seeing right now is not a degeneration, it's actually a purification. The fact that this is coming to the surface so intensely right now is perfect, because it is actually an indication that we're moving through this, and people are going to see within the intensity the ridiculousness of this idea that other people are somehow different to me and dirtier than me or whatever to me. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of these comments. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are germophobic, and a lot of people who basically think, that the boogeyman is outside of themselves. It's a very, very common way of egoically coping with their own inadequacies, that you put the bad thing outside of yourself, whether it's germs, whether it's certain socioeconomic races or people or whatever, different nations, different baseball team. You put the bad person outside of yourself, the bad thing outside of yourself, and basically then fight them. And that's how the ego copes with this idea that we're not safe, right? We feel unsafe in these conditions because so much is changing, and then we look for a reason. And so a great reason for feeling unsafe is that there's something dangerous outside of ourselves, and we need to defend ourselves against it. It's a very, very normal egoic coping mechanism. And so whether it's germs, or whether it's the Mexicans, or whether it's pick something, right? And sorry, Mexicans. I just picked something that was topical. The yellow socks. It doesn't matter whether it's it's on all levels, right? The Chinese, right? Another one. Sorry, that's another race. That's another country. Nation. Nations and races, they're different things. But used in similar ways, right? Divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. It's been I love it that you're whistling a happy tune while in the supermarket, Mary. Well done. It's not going to let me do that. I know how to do this. I double click on this and it's going to start for a second, and I just have to get rid of the volume. I didn't start. Right now I have access to all of the comments here for those that I missed. Yeah, it's true, Mary, right? So Mary wrote in also that these germophobic people keep everything so clean that they actually create allergies. And, you have to understand everything is energy, right? So you can look at her external actions and say, well, that caused the allergy. But really, her attitude caused the allergy. Her external actions were just a reflection of her attitude. So that's it. If you fear things, you will become allergic to them, right? And so fear, and the stress that fear causes is our number one robber of health and happiness. And so that's why I said, that's why, you had the idea that I don't agree with watching videos, and it's not the truth. I'm happy for you to watch a video from someone, from any conspiracy theory, as long as you can do it in a way that it does not induce stress in you, right? Because the stress is what's going to cause your unhappiness, Mary. And as a client of mine, I'm trying to help you, right? So your job is to stay aligned with your happiness and with your authentic confidence in yourself, and not to get overly consumed in worry and concern about how this thing's going to play out, but to rather invest your energy in maintaining your attention on your intention to have a great outcome. And you don't need to know how the outcome's going to occur, but we are all being called as light warriors at this time to stay connected to our dreams, our big dream for a very expansive and light-filled future, society and self, right? Our own state of being first and foremost, and how that ripples out into the society that we live in. And while you might all think, well, that's a fucking pipe dream, we've got to be grounded here and real in this current situation. That's also true. But when you connect very strongly and consistently to your dream of a expansive, light-filled, joyful, empowered, free, authentically confident, loving future and society, then it influences how you behave in this now moment, how you respond to the current situations in a way that you act in a much more empowered way, in a much more beneficial way to progress us all in that direction, which is what we need, right? What society needs. More and more people from the grassroots up, hello, Sister Emily Rose, from the grassroots up, acting in an empowered way, in a confident way, to create this future, even though none of us know how individually. It's like, does any one ant know how to maintain the ant's nest? Does any one bee know how to construct the beehive and maintain all of the honey and the wax and the babies? And no one bee knows how to do that, but collectively the wisdom is there. And it's the same for us, right? None of us have the picture. We all just have little bits of the puzzle. And our job is to hold our bits of the puzzle out, right? Our energy out. And then all of us coming together with our bits of energy visible, right? It works out as a collective, right? Because we're all God. We are all holographic images of God, right? And when we come together, it creates the whole. And yet the whole is contained within us. But our little egoic mind can't access it. But as a collective, it all just works itself out. So our job is to shine our light bright and to just keep showing up, right? And not to get egoically contracted and stressed by the enormity of the quote unquote problem in front of us, the situation, right? None of us can intellectualize how we're going to get to an expansive future. And yet all we really need to do is to hold our space there. Hello, forgetful Kelly Jean. It's all good. And it's always here in playback. What else? I think I've delivered it, right? Pretty much that concept. Don't get stressed, basically. It is a massive time, a beautiful time for our awakening, each of us individually and as a collective. And our job is not to try and micromanage our awakening. You can't micromanage your awakening. You didn't do it this morning when you woke up. It just happens, right? So the point is to maintain your attention on where you're going and what you're awakening into. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. And then just take empowered action steps as they appear in front of you. What do you want to put your energy into? And certainly don't pick worry and concern, because that's not a great help for anyone, including yourself. Does anyone have any specific question about anything I can fill in the last few minutes with? So as I was saying, for those of you in the Mantara Transformation Empowerment Support community, for those of you in the Kapiti Yoga online community, it is free. And I have put the links out in the groups for the call that's coming up at 2 p.m. New Zealand time. So that is in 4.5 hours. The call will start. That's correct, because full moon is in 5 hours and 10 minutes. And for the others of you, there is links in this group about how you can join. It is only $9.99 New Zealand, which is about $6.20 US. Hey, Sister Luna. So if you want to join in that call, it's going to be like, it's a 75-minute call, 15-minute little chat before we get started. A good 45 minutes of light language, so it'll be a longer light language experience to really take people into the space where their awakening can occur more naturally and in a beautifully empowered way. I'm glad you enjoyed the call on the weekend, Kelly. Then I'm glad you're enjoying our yoga, Emily Rose. And then we'll just sort of, I'll have to get everyone back. No doubt I'll go for longer than 45 minutes in the light language, as I always do. But I am intending to bring it in within 75 minutes, but it also takes time to help people have a little bit of time to integrate and assimilate afterwards. It is going to be a very, very powerful experience. I won't use the word intense, but it will be a very powerful experience. And my ability to channel at the moment and my ability to bring through energy and hold space is very, very excitingly getting high. There is no cost to you, Mary, so you don't need to be confused at all. The link for you to join that call has been emailed to you, and it's also in the Transformation Empowerment Support community group. So you can just click on it. Hey, Sister Nola. It is a very potent time. That is exactly right. Thank you, Emily. That's better than whatever else I was going to say, powerful or intense. So my light language is very potent at the moment. So what's oopsing for? Oh, I see, a typo. I did write it, Mary. I did write it. I wrote it in all of the emails I've written that it's free to our group. And I'm pretty sure I haven't seen you purchase it, so that's good. So I don't need to refund you. It's coming up. It's coming up in, we'll be on the call in whatever time, at 2:00 my time, which will be 10:00 for you, Mary. No worries, Jerry. Enjoy, Nola. Enjoy your client. I've also got a call coming up soon. It'll be emailed to you 2 hours before the call, Mary, as well. I've got a program, so it'll come out 2 hours before the call. I sent it out a day ago, and it's also in the Empowerment Support Community Facebook group. So it should be easy to find. Okay, my friends, I've pretty much... God, my calendar's going off. Keep on keeping on. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want me to address a topic, just feel free to write it into this community Facebook group at any time. I wouldn't use that term, Mary. I would use busy. Right, and diffuse is probably another word. There's a lot going on and your attention is going everywhere. So it's going to serve you to bring your attention back to your intention and not to allow it to get too caught up in quote unquote the videos, right? That's the point. So that you're clearer, right? yeah, so please feel free to reach out at any time with any question, and I can either jump on and do a little video about it then and there, or I can save it to the next one of these that happens every week at the same time. Chat with Matt here, my Wednesday morning 9 a.m. Or whatever, right? I'm here to serve you all. So don't feel shy. And if you feel that I can help you in other ways, then reach out. If you feel that you need a personal session at this time, or you want to join the Transformation Empowerment Support community, or you want to join the yoga community, or you want to join the Bright Light Client Attraction process. Got many different ways of working with people, and I'm here for you. So if you're feeling it, reach out. Just send me an email or send me a messenger, or just reach out, put a comment in this, and I will find it and reach out to you. Here to serve. Anyway, my friends, for those of you who are joining us in however many hours it'll be, 3.5. Why can't I do maths today? It's 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. It's 9:30 my time. It'll be at 2 o'clock my time. Much love. Bye for now. Namaste. Hari Om.